although she occasionally worked overtime and stepped in for others on Monday and Tuesday. Today was Wednesday. In a few minutes, Dinah was kneading dough too, though our respective ingredients were quite different. She didn't say anything more at first, but something in the way she kept aiming giant smiles at her busy hands made me ask, "So what's going on, Dinah? Are you smiling that way because you're happy it's your birthday?" "That's part of the reason," she responded without explaining further. My curiosity had snapped into high gear, however. Knowing Dinah and what appeared to make her happy, I hazarded a guess. "Have you been doing any research lately?" In addition to being a wonderful assistant here in my shops, Dinah enjoyed writing. She'd had a few articles published online, as well as a short story or two, but I knew she'd been working on some longer fiction as well. "I sure have." This time her vast, toothy smile was aimed toward me. "And there's been an amazing twist in what I've been checking out." Aha, I'd guessed it. Sort of. But with Dinah, my guess hadn't been difficult to come by. "What's the twist?" "Well," the pace of her kneading increased, as if she was revving up to say something highly significant. To her, it undoubtedly was. "That doesn't sound very amazing," I prompted. "Oh, but, well, Carrie, this morning while I was getting dressed, I turned my TV on, and the most astonishing coincidence occurred. Kind of." "What's that?" I again prompted, as she seemed to hesitate. Was she trying to torment me into pushing her, or was her mind circling around whatever that new coincidence was? "Amazing," she said again, but this time she continued. "There was a teaser on Knob TV News that said Mike Holpurn was being paroled." Her blue eyes were huge again as she studied my face for a reaction. "Who's Mike Holpurn?" I had to ask. The name didn't sound familiar. She shook her head slightly as if in exasperation, but then sighed and said, "I forgot you're a relative newbie to Knobcone Heights. I only moved here after graduating from college, but ever since I got here, I've been researching the town's history, or part of it at least." "So Mike Holpurn is a historical figure? One who was being paroled, evidently. But why had he been incarcerated? And where?" I had no doubt that Dinah knew the particulars. "Kind of." Dinah had pulled out a rolling pin as I had, and was now flattening her dough too. "Here's the story that I've found so far." She proceeded to explain that Mike Holpurn had been a contractor for a home building company in this area. But he'd been sent to prison around 10 years ago after entering into a plea bargain for apparently murdering former Knobcone Heights Mayor Flora Morgan Schulzer. "I've been researching it because it's so fascinating," Dinah finished. "I'm considering turning a fictionalized version of it into a novel, and the fact that the guy got parole? Wow, how can I resist, especially since I may even be able to interview him?" I'd vaguely heard of the mayor and her murder, which occurred about 5 years before I'd moved to Knobcone Heights. Dinah's desire to interview the apparent perpetrator didn't sound like a good idea to me. I liked my able assistant. A lot. Plus, I'd found myself in danger now and then lately when I'd snooped into several murders that had occurred in our otherwise quiet town. I didn't want anything to happen to Dinah. "You can and should resist," I told her. "I doubt someone in that situation would want to talk about it, and is he getting out because someone else is now a suspect?" "I don't know," Dinah said. "That's one of the things I need to learn." "You don't need to," I said, and just then the door from our parking lot opened again, and another of my assistants, Janelle Blackstone, walked in. She and my brother Neil were an item, and since Neil lived at my house with me but hadn't come home last night, I suspected Janelle had left him at her house early this morning as she headed to work. "Hi," she called out immediately. "Happy birthday, Dinah." "Hi, Janelle." Dinah shot her a smile and raised her eyebrows as she looked back at me. I gathered that she wanted our conversation to end, which was fine with me, for now. But if Dinah really was going to try to research that long-ago murder in person with a paroled